What's up, Charb? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I hope you like this video. This is going to be your review for the Real Housewives of Potomac Season 5, Episode 3. And y'all, when I looked at that, I had to do a double take. Like, we only on Episode 3. I feel like we have lived the whole season with everything that's been going on in social media, with everything that's been going on with Candiace and Monique. And child, I feel like we halfway through the damn season. We only on Episode 3. Girl. Anyway, let's go on and get this party started. So, we start off where we left off last week with everybody kind of jumping on Candiace, trying to make her apologize to Ashley. And let me be clear. There ain't going to be a whole lot of times that I'm probably going to agree with Candiace in this season. But in this moment, in this time, in this episode, I was with it. I felt, and I said this last week, I felt the same way. Like, you can't make somebody apologize. And I don't even want an apology under those circumstances. And Wendy, you know, she tried to intervene, but of course she knew girl on the block. Wasn't nobody really checking for her. But when Karen said it, okay, I think we need to move on now. I think we're done with this conversation. Like, you're not gonna make this woman you're not gonna browbeat her into an apology. And I think that Candiace's first reaction was appropriate. She said, "Listen, I agree. We need to talk, but I don't think that this is the time or the place. I think me and you should set up a time when we can go and have this conversation together." And they still gonna film the damn conversation. So I just feel like in that moment, Monique, Giselle, and everybody else should have let the shit go and move on. But anyway. Then we had the conversation about Sharice being invited to the party. And Monique was like, now see, here's the thing I feel. I feel like Monique was pissed off and Monique was upset because of what Giselle told her, because Giselle put a little battery in her back, right? She was already upset about Sharice being at the party. That ain't the battery I'm talking about. I'm talking about the little tinky tink that Giselle put out there about Candiace was doing it to get back at Monique. Now, we all know that some things have come to light after the fact, okay? And what we don't all know is the timeline in regards to filming, confessionals, when Monique found out, how much Monique found out, when Monique found out, how much she found out. So we know that there's a lot of convolutedness going on. But in that moment, Candiace was like, well, I didn't think it was going to be that big of a deal because, like, for real, I felt like their beef was old and I didn't think it was that serious. But if this person is your friend and this woman threatened her marriage to the level that Sharice is being accused, I feel like that's something that somebody that you're a friend with, you would remember. And like Monique said, just give me a heads up. Let me know she gonna be there. And then I can make a decision about whether I'm gonna be there. You know, just like Ashley Sippensy later on in the episode, Ashley told Monique, hey, look, you know I've been cool with Sharice and Sharice is coming. Like, it is what it is. But of course, Monique was pissed off. And then Candiace was pissed off because she felt like Monique set her up. Because she was like, I called Monique and said, listen, is this dinner good? I'm not going to be, you know, attacked. And nobody going to be coming for me. Like, I'm cool, right? And Monique told her, yeah. And then when she got there, she felt like she was being attacked. So, you know, like I said, y'all ain't going to get too much of me when it comes to agreeing with Candiace. But I do agree with Candiace on the part about being attacked. Now, the situation with Sharice, I think she was being very flippant and very dismissive of Monique's feelings about the Sharice situation. Although she did apologize. And y'all know Candiace don't apologize too much. Now, Candiace did apologize. And I think just like you wanted her to apologize to Ashley, I just think it should have been over in that moment. But again, we know that there was a whole lot more to that story that we didn't necessarily know right there, but we found out later that there was a whole lot more to the story. Then afterwards, when they were outside, the cameras weren't rolling, but we heard the mic and we heard Monique trying to talk to Candiace, and Candiace tell her, girl, no, get away from me. It's not a joke. I'm not playing. You're not even a real friend. You two-faced it and this, that, and the other. And Monique was like, girl, I had to. And she was like, no, you didn't. You ain't have to. You could have gave me a heads up. Like, you ain't have to do all of that. Now, hold on, y'all. That's my group chat. Y'all know the group chat be going on, chat. So then we see Ashley shopping with Michael for an outfit for the baby for the sip and see. And basically all she did was rehash to Michael what happened. And Michael was like, so Candiace is going to be in my house? Candiace. That Candiace? You invited her to my house. Michael wasn't feeling it. And we also see that there's some stuff going on between Ashley and Michael too. Now, Ashley said, well, Michael is in his feelings a little bit because we haven't been able to be together physically. My body still hasn't really healed. We tried to have sex. It didn't work out. Now, mind you, Baby D in this moment, I think it's like 2 months. Now, remember how Ashley said to her how sexual her and Michael were. So for them to go from that to nothing, I don't know. But I don't know about y'all, but I felt something else in that moment. I think Ashley used it as, but I felt something else in that moment. But okay, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm feeling something. Maybe I'm reading into it. Then we see Monique. Lord, not Monique. Then we see Giselle and Robyn have a moment. Robyn came to visit Giselle at her house, and they're still doing construction and all of that. And they got to talking about her situation with Jamal and the girls. And she was letting him know, like Jamal is not, like the girls are not feeling the situation with Jamal. And she said, I thought that all kids wanted their parents back together, but she just doesn't seem to be feeling it. Like, the kids are not here for it. And Robyn was like, all of them? She was like, yeah, all of them. And again, like, you probably should ask yourself why. She said that he was on his way there because they were going to have a birthday celebration. And, child, we'll get to that birthday celebration in a minute, honey. But yeah, Robyn was like, far be it for me to judge anybody to take anybody back because, hell, me and Juan, we done had our shit. She was like, but what made you, like, how did that happen? And she said, well, because when everything that he had, like, I guess the vetting process that he had to go through to get the job down in Newburgh kind of humbled him. I think Newburgh was worried about the fact that he ain't had no first lady. I'm just saying. But she said that that's what it was and that he realized what was important to him and how he really did love her. And that's kind of how that whole situation went down. I was like, okay, all right, well, okay. What, child? Listen, I wasn't on that conversation. I don't know what had happened. Then we get some home situation with Wendy and her kids. Listen. And we found out that Wendy and her husband are both Nigerian. She was actually an immigrant. She came here as a kid, and I'm not sure about him. I think he might have been born here. I'm not sure. Her mother has degrees. We know she has degrees. She gave us her credentials, honey. She went down the line of all of her degrees, and then with the PH and the D. She said, and she said in Nigerian, it's all, education is important, and it was never a if, it was a when. It was never if you're going to get this degree, it was when you're going to get this degree. And I think she has 4 altogether, child. And her mother was teaching the boys Igbo. She said her and her husband are both from the same tribe, and they both, that's their native language. And the boys just wasn't here for it. But I definitely think it's important, and I respect the hell out of her mom and them for encouraging it. And I mean, they're kids. They're kids, And that was clearly done for the cameras because what the mama was teaching them, they already knew, child. And then them boys, but I understood what they were showing us, and I understood why they were showing it to a child. And then them boys got to arguing, honey. They got to fighting and wasn't paying her no attention. And she was like, that's why your daddy getting a vasectomy. I said, I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at him getting the vasectomy. So then we see Candiace and Chris shopping for her bonus child. We know Chris has kids outside of that he has 3 kids, I think, from 2 relationships. And Candiace said, I was a stepdaughter, bonus child. I love that term, bonus child. The first time I heard that was a good friend of mine. She referred to her stepdaughter as her bonus child, and I always loved that term. But anyway, and she said, she loves shopping for her. She loves shopping for the little girls and all that good stuff. And she said it's always important because she was a stepchild, and she knows how important it is to feel wanted and loved by the new parent. And she, then she was telling Chris about what happened at the dinner and how she felt about the situation. And she was talking about going to Ashley's Sip and See. And Chris gave her some good advice that I think she listened to. Chris told her, listen, don't allow them to control your emotion. He said, you know, other people are going to do what they do, but you can't allow them to control your emotion. Because if you allow them to control your emotion, then you're a sad individual, he said. And I think we'll get to that, but I think she actually took his advice because Candiace actually, I think, did a good job of controlling herself and making a good decision later on in the episode. So then we have Monique and Karen are meeting over at Monique's house. Child, Monique had that damn bird on her shoulder when she opened the door. Karen was like, so we still gonna do this with the bird? Like, you really just going with the bird? Child, Karen was not feeling that bird. But anyway, her and Karen had the conversation, and I think Karen was doing the best she could in the situation where she didn't want to necessarily have to feel like she had to choose sides. Monique was talking to Karen about being friends and how Ashley is a fake friend and Ashley's not a real friend and this, that, and the other. And I think Karen did a good job of balancing that because she didn't, well, at least what they edited, she didn't talk shit. She listened to what Monique had to say and she gave Monique some advice, you know, but I felt like she didn't talk shit, you know. And sometimes when you're caught in the middle, that's the best you can do is you can listen without participating. That's the best you can do is listen without participating, right? So then we see Giselle, honey, celebrating her birthday. And this had to be the driest, most awkward situation. The whole scene was just hard to watch. It was so awkward. So we start with the girls in the car on their way to meet Jamal for Giselle's dinner. And she was like, wow, like, isn't this great that we're celebrating with Daddy? And one of the girls was like, we do it every year. And y'all know shady ass Bravo showed all these pictures of them together for Giselle's birthday. She was like, yeah, but it's different this year, like, you know, because we're like together. Why the girls was just like, it was crickets. Then they get to the marina because they were going on a boat, and they get to the marina and they get on the boat. They having dinner and like crickets. Like, she's trying to have the conversation. She's trying to get them to talk to their dad. They ain't trying to talk to him. And he was like, and then they were sitting there disagreeing about when was the last time they all saw each other. And come to find out, Giselle has seen their daddy more than they have, which goes back to what they were saying about who he's really interested in. Is he interested in them or is he interested in the girls? Or Giselle? Then we heard he showed up at the daughter school and the daughter ain't want him there. She said, he said, yeah, she told me to leave. She made me leave. And I was like, it's crazy. Like, your father lives in Atlanta. You live in Maryland. And when he comes to visit you, you don't want to see him. Like, it is something to this. Like, it is something going on. So then, and what I will say, though, is this was a great thing he did. He opened up a restaurant and he made them co-owners. So that's how you build wealth with your kids. Like, that is how you build wealth. You know, I hope the restaurant's doing well in COVID. But that is a great idea. That is a great thing that he did. Now, that I got to give him credit for. But, again, the oldest daughter wasn't impressed. The younger daughters, the twins, they were happy. But the oldest one, Miss Grace was like, yeah, all right. I mean, I thought we was getting Nicki Minaj tickets or something. Like, I mean, I guess this is all right. I don't know. I guess. I was like, damn, like, she really is not here for her daddy. Like, she really don't be feeling it. She really don't see it for him, like, at all. She don't see it for her daddy. Then they brought the cake out to sing happy birthday, and it was like, happy birthday to you, happy birthday To mommy, happy. Like, it was hard. Y'all, it was the worst scene ever. And Giselle even had to say, well, this supposed to be a celebration, but I don't feel nothing festive about it. And I'm like, because it's not. Like, they clearly are not feeling their dad. They clearly are not feeling this situation. They clearly are awkward and unhappy. And it's just, I don't know, Giselle, you might want to take heed. Like, you know, they say out of the mouths of babes, like, child. So then we get to the sip and see. Okay, let's just go on. We almost done, y'all. We get to the sip and see, and everybody shows up. Everybody's happy. You know, Ashley, of course, is still worried about Dean being exposed to the world. She's not sure she wants people kissing on her baby. But listen, I've had friends that have had babies, and they are always like this with the first one. By the time you get to the third or fourth one, they be like, yeah, all right. I mean, you want to go ahead. Like, my girlfriend, when she had her first baby, like, she had hand sanitizer at the door. And this was years ago. Like, this was before now. Like, years ago, she had hand sanitizer at the door. And was like, before you come in my house, I'm going to need you to hit that hand sanitizer. And before you touch my baby, I'm going to need you to go in the bathroom, wash your hands. I was like, okay, girl, okay. Child, by that third baby, because she got 4 kids. By that third baby, she was just like, here, take them. Like, okay. So I understand where Ashley's coming from, child. Like, that's what new mothers do. But it seems like she is making a effort to come out of that. So I can respect that. So they're having this whole. So by this time, everybody's there except for, you know, Candiace isn't there yet. Wendy's not there yet. But they're having this whole conversation about Candiace and what happened that night at dinner, and you know how Candiace was acting and how she received what was going on, and Candiace needs to do this and Candiace needs to do that, and Candiace needs to apologize and this, that, and the other. Y'all know how they don't let shit die. Y'all know how they don't let shit die. So, of course, who's at the door next? Candiace. And Ashley don't even want to open the door because Ashley know they're talking about her, so she trying to wait for them to finish talking before she open the door and let Candiace in. Candiace comes in. Her and Ashley have a moment. She bought a gift for Ashley, even though Ashley said no gifts, but she did anyway. And I can understand that. Like, you probably should have. Like, I understand you bringing a gift. You probably should have bought a gift. And they get to talking, and everything was cool. Like, everybody, I think, was having a good time until here go messy ass Ashley. Well, Candiace, I just think you need to know that we were all talking about you before you got here. So I don't want you to feel no kind of way. Like, we were talking behind your back, and we were just speaking about the other night and how you know, really needed to apologize. And, you know, we just didn't understand why you couldn't apologize. And you know, now by this time, Wendy's there. And Candiace is like, but I think, oh yeah, and Sharice is there too by this time. So Candiace is like, but what? Like, I thought we had resolved this. Like, I thought, didn't we say that Ashley and I would have a conversation at a later time, at a later date, without y'all heifers around? Like, why are we still having this conversation? So, in that moment, Ashley then Candiace sort of went back and forth with Monique, and then they started getting into who was a real friend and who was a fake friend and all of that. And in this moment, Ashley made a good decision. Ashley got her ass up and she left. Rather than argue, rather than make a scene, rather than get loud, hell, rather than pick up a butter knife, Candiace said, this is where I exit stage left. This is where I get up and I leave. And I'm here for it. I was here for it, Ashley. I mean, Candiace, I feel like that was the best decision in that moment. Oh, no. Ooh. And I respect that. I hit the button, y'all. And I respect the hell out of it, right? We had a little situation earlier on where Karen once again was ignoring Wendy, and Wendy was like, I don't know why Karen keep acting like she don't know me, but I'm sure they'll explore that at a later time. And Wendy even had a little 2 cents in this because Wendy tried to tell Candiace, she was like, Monique is not your friend. And she was like, well, maybe Candiace doesn't want to have this conversation in front of y'all because she doesn't consider all of y'all friends. So maybe she's not comfortable having a conversation because she don't consider all of y'all friends of hers. And so, you know, Wendy got her little jabs in too, because Wendy's like, listen, Monique is not Candiace's friend, and she need to not feel that way. So then, when Candiace got to leave, Wendy and Karen went to go follow her, and Karen said, let her go. She said, listen, she said she's done, and we have to respect that. And rather than chasing behind, because I feel like what Karen was saying was, don't chase behind her because the camera's going to follow. And she said she's done filming. So we got to respect that she's done filming. And I think Karen is really sensitive about it because Karen's thing is, been there and done that. Like, I've been on the other side of this, and I know what it feels like, and I don't want to be on this side of it anymore. And I don't want Candiace to be on this side of it. And I think Wendy wanted to go after her, but Wendy, she didn't. And Ashley, when Ashley realized that Candiace really was leaving, Ashley did go after her, and they went outside and they talked. And Candiace, again, I have to give her props that she handled it very well. She didn't yell at Ashley. She didn't go after Ashley, but she was just like, listen, I don't understand why this is an issue. Like, Monique is fake. And I said that we would talk at a different time. We would talk at a later time. And I don't understand the issue, because we had already decided that me and you would have this conversation. And Ashley was like, well, do you want to talk now? And Candiace was like, no, I really don't. Like, this, I don't want to talk right now, but we will talk. Thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it. And she was like, thank you for coming. And so I feel like they sort of had that moment in that moment. And again, I appreciate how Candiace handled it. Now, upstairs, messy ass Giselle wants to start a situation with Sharice and Monique. And Giselle is like, so Sharice, what about you and Monique? And Monique was like, let it go. And she was like, well, no, I'm just saying, I just feel like, there's a big old elephant in the room, so let's just go and hit it head on. Monique was like, let it go. Giselle kept talking. So what did Monique do? She said, well, I gotta go. She got up and left. Now, the one thing Sharice said that I thought was very interesting, Sharice was like, so you don't have anything to say about your situation, but you had a whole lot to say about Candiace's situation a minute ago. Oh, okay. And I was like, she does kind of have a point. But I also understand that there's some things that we just don't need to talk about. Like, if I feel like you're trying to destroy my marriage, that's just not a conversation me and you need to have. Like, I understand why Monique is like, we don't have nothing to talk about. There's nothing here to discuss. So, child, that was kind of how that whole thing went down, honey. We'll see what happens next week, but listen, it's hard to ignore what we've heard in the media and really take this stuff like this. But I'm gonna try, y'all, because there's so much I want to add to it. But I'm trying to stick to what they're showing us on screen. You see what I'm saying? Anyway, y'all, let me know what y'all think. Drop it in them comments. Peace.